All right, so welcome to the Radon Information Session. My name is Pam Workington, and I'm with the Canadian Association of Radon Scientists and Technologists, CARST, which is the National Radon Association, and I lead the Take Action on Radon project. And joining me from our Take Action on Radon team is Dr. Anne-Marie Nicol. She is our epidemiologist specialist, and she is with Simon Fraser University, but also works with the BC CDC. And then we also have Jill Holland and friends in Fundy Shores. So thanks, Jill, for helping us facilitate there in person. And then we have Susie Patterson from Lakeland Ridges. So thank you both for helping us connect to the community. It's really important to have your connection. So thanks for joining us. All right. We are a national organization, and so Take Action on Radon works with organizations all across the country, and we are proud to unite members from across our country, which encompass the traditional territory of many First Nations, Métis people, and Inuits whose ancestral footsteps and rights beyond our colonial boundaries that exist today. We respectfully honor these people's rights and history and relationship with our land, and we appreciate the ability to work together. All right, Anne-Marie, I'm going to get you to start us off with the basics of radon.
Sure. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
And thank you. I am joining you from far across the other side of the country from British Columbia, and it does actually look like that outside right now, but I'm not at SFU, my alma mater as well. So I'm here to talk to you about radon gas. If you had not heard about it before now, you are not alone. The Statistics Canada asks people questions about their knowledge of radon, and to date, less than 50% of Canadians can accurately say what radon gas actually is. So if this is your first time learning about radon or learning a little bit more about what it actually is, then you are in good company. So inhalation of radon gas is actually the leading cause of lung cancer in non-smokers and the second leading cause of lung cancer in people who smoke. So radon is a potent known lung carcinogen. Next, please. We know this. We know that radon causes lung cancer because of impacts that have been had on people from your part of the world, people who were fluorspar miners, uranium miners, Canadian miners, French, European, and in some cases in the United States, people who worked in the uranium industry developed lung cancer. And for a while, they were trying to figure out what the exposures were. And eventually they realized that it's a gas that's given off as radiation gas and radiation that are giving off as uranium decays. So it was not the uranium that was causing lung cancer in the workers. It was actually the radon gas that's part of the decay chain of uranium and other radioactive materials. And over time, they realized that humans inhaling radon gas will clearly develop lung cancer. Other cancers have been suggested, but this is the one that we know the clearest. And Health Canada has done some estimates, and they believe about 3,000 people in Canada each year die from radon-related lung cancer. Next, please. Now, smoking and radon are not great exposures to have at the same time. If you smoke and are exposed to elevated levels of radon, you significantly increase your risk of developing lung cancer. This is called a synergistic relationship in medicine, but it just means that together they're actually worse than they are individually. So if you have high radon, your chance of developing lung cancer is already pretty high. It's about 1 in 20. But if you smoke and have high radon levels, your risk goes up to 1 in 3. And lung cancer remains one of our least survivable cancers. I'm sure everybody in the room knows somebody who's developed lung cancer. And here in my province, we're learning that the majority of people about 60% of our cohorts have smoked, but almost 35% of people have never smoked that are developing lung cancer in BC. So we're doing a lot of investigations in radon-rich regions to figure out what's going on. But together, smoking and radon provides this sort of 1-2 punch in the lungs that really increases people's risk. And it's also something that can be as really solvable as Pam will tell you. You can reduce this risk by reducing the radon levels in your home, which is easier than quitting smoking. Next, please. So we've tried to quantify this synergistic risk in BC by just showing that the more radon that you have, so the farther down you go on the left side of this table, the higher the radon level goes. And you can see here that your risk of developing lung cancer with high radon levels is 4%, or about 4 times higher than it would be if you have low radon levels. But if you have lung cancer and you smoke, you get this significantly higher estimate. And in BC, again, we're working on smoking ever and former current smokers and radon. So we try to explain the numbers like this, but you can still see there's an appreciable increase if you've never been a smoker as well. So how do you get exposed to this? Because I'm sure none of you are uranium miners, so you might be wondering, why are you here talking about this? And it's because that gas that was found in uranium mines occurs naturally as uranium breaks down. And we have uranium all over Canada. We are a uranium-rich country. And as the uranium in soil breaks down over time, it gives off radon gas, which migrates from cold areas to warm areas. So from the soil upwards into places like homes and buildings, through cracks and floors or walls. And over time, those gases can become entrained or contained within structures. And that's why levels are higher generally in the basement and the ground contact. But if you don't have a basement, and sometimes even on second floors, we can see elevated levels of radon. So is radon just a problem in homes? No, it can occur also in workplaces, in schools. Here in BC, we've even found fish hatcheries where there's a large amount of water that contains uranium, and radon can also have high levels. So workplaces and schools, childcare centers, any place that has contact with the ground, that has walls around it, roofs and doors and windows, these are places where we know that the gas can build up. So this is why Health Canada recommends that all buildings, workplaces, and homes and schools be tested for radon. So how do you test for this gas? It's invisible, it's colorless, odorless, tasteless. So the only way that you know if you have radon in your home, in fact, if your neighbor has radon, you can't necessarily assume that your house has the same levels. Each house is probably built a bit differently. People use their houses differently. Some people have renovated their homes to make them more airtight, which can keep gases inside. So the only way that you're going to know what the levels are in your home is to test. And that's tonight you're part of a program now that will provide you with a free test. The tests that you're getting today are incredibly accurate, and they're very easy to use. And we like to test, the tests you're getting tonight are measured over a 91-day period. And that's because radon levels, because it's a gas, the concentration of the gas can go up and down over the course of a day. So I have a detector in my house. I have about 40 becquerels. That's the unit that we use to test for radon, but it can fluctuate from about 20 up to 70, depending on whether or not it's hot in my house, or if a door or window has been left open, or if there's things going on. So the radon levels change quite a bit over a day and over months. So we don't want to get a false positive or a false negative. We don't want to know what the highest level is in your house. We don't want to know what the absolute lowest level is. We want to know on average the level that you're breathing over time. So that's why we measure for 91 days. We don't just do a grab sample. Other countries, such as our neighbors to the south, have a different perspective on this. But in Canada, we recommend that people test for about 3 months so they get an accurate assessment of their average exposure. So the radon detectors that you're getting tonight are AlphaTrack devices. And again, they are reliable, but they are a one-time use only. So I'm not sure if in Newfoundland, if you have devices in your library that can be lent, but there are digital. Pam, do you know if there's digital detectors in the library? There are.
So they did have them. In fact, I've got them in the next slide. New Brunswick had them across the province, but they have suspended them right now because of the rollout of the other test program with the libraries. But yeah, so you might get one of these detectors, just depending on which one you pick up. We're using both in the program this year.
Okay, excellent. So these are one-time use. So once you have finished testing, Pam will explain a bit more, but you send them back and that's it. They are only used the one time. The digital monitors that are available in libraries is a different technology. And again, it's not considered as accurate as the devices that you will get tonight or over the next few days.
I thought I put a slide in about them, but I guess I didn't.
Okay.
But yeah, there are digital monitors that are available and they test. When you use a digital monitor, yeah, Anne-Marie's got one there that you can see. We do recommend that you still test for a long term. The libraries had been loaning them out for, a few weeks just because of the library system has a different rotation, but they still were, an opportunity for people to get access to a kit, do a little bit of radon awareness. But there was still recommendation in those kits that people should follow up with a long-term test. So even if you did use one of the library kits, now you can get access to one of these, and it's a really good combination just to confirm what the radon levels were.
Thanks. So when you do a test, you get a number back and it's got a unit. So the unit is a becquerel per meter cubed, which is a disintegration of radiation within a meter of air. In the United States, they use a different metric. So just to flag that in the US, their metric is picocurie, which is a very different way of measuring radon. They have very low numbers. Their regulatory limit is 4 picocuries. Ours is 200 becquerels per meters cubed. And what that measurement indicates is, if we think back to the slides a bit previously, it's the level at which we see about a doubling of the relative risk for developing lung cancer. And so this is the level at which the government recommends that people start to consider radon mitigation. So anything that's 200 above. Historically, the government said, the higher it is, the sooner you should do it. But we've realized over time, given the burden of lung cancer, that it's really important to take action as soon as you can to reduce your levels if you do get 200 becquerels or higher. And just to say that this is a linear dose response relationship. So 199 is not a magically great number. Anything between 100 and 200 starts to become of concern. In Europe, the regulatory limit is 100. And in the US, if you convert that picocurie to a becquerel, it's about 150. So actually, the guideline in the US is a bit more health protective than what ours is in Canada. But if you get a number back that is above 200, that's when you want to really be thinking about getting your house fixed. And the higher the number is, the greater the amount of radon that was in your home. And I'm going to pass this over to Pam now because she's the person that knows all about the National Certification Program.
Thanks, Anne-Marie. Yeah, so if you do test and have elevated levels, then we do recommend that you reach out to a CNRPP professional. We do have a list of certified professionals across New Brunswick. So you can go on to our search tool. You can search by province and change the radius to see, who, or by postal code and change the radius to see sort of who's in your approximate area. And then on that website too, there's other information that you can check out about, what a mitigation system looks like and questions that you can ask your certified professional. But the most common way to reduce radon is a radon mitigation system. And this includes a pipe and a fan, and it provides a pathway for the gas to go from below your home up and outside. And so as Anne-Marie said, the radon is coming from our soil. It's in our soil all across Canada. But it doesn't stay in the soil because when it becomes radon, it moves up into our air. And so any building that has contact with the ground can have radon coming in through cracks and openings in it. So for this system to be installed well, ideally we want to have some sealing done so that the footprint is well sealed, and then the pipe would go down through the concrete slab if that's the foundation of your home, and provide a pathway to go up and out. If you have a crawl space or a dirt floor, then we would create a membrane so that there is that sealed footprint, again, to make sure that the system works more effectively. And then the pipe would draw air. So this looks a little bit like a tire, but really it's just a void space so that you can sort of see that there's empty space so that it can gather the air up from underneath. We've done research to show that the air out at the end of the pipe discharges to quite low levels. And so it really is effective in removing the radon gas, not only from your home, but it doesn't increase it in the outdoor levels. The key is to make sure that this fan is properly sized. So you don't want it too large. You don't want a fan that's sucking. You just want it to provide that pathway. And so we talk about the difference of pressures. And so the gas comes in because your home is under lower pressure as when compared to your ground beneath your home. And so what this system does is it, eases the air from the beneath the slab up and out. It is really simple and it can be installed in a day typically. And these are a couple such examples of what it might look like. On this one, there's a YouTube manometer, so it's just a manual indicator to show that the fan is working. So that fan should be running 24 hours a day. And this YouTube manometer will just show a little bit of an indication that there is air movement. Sometimes these fans are so quiet you can't even tell if it's turned on. And then on the other picture, there's an electronic monitor. So this one is an alarm. So if the fan turns off, it sounds an audible alarm so that you know it's working. And if you do need to install a radon mitigation, currently the Canadian Lung Association has a national radon mitigation grant. In order to apply for this, you need a long-term radon test, so such as what you'll get from this program. Then you also need to have a quote from a CNRPP professional. So you need to apply before you start any work. So you just need to submit the quote. And then you also need to qualify. And there's two different ways you can qualify. Either you meet the income threshold, so it is below the provincial median income, and you can go on the Canadian Lungs website to the Radon page and find what those numbers are when you apply for your province. Or the other way that you could qualify is if there's an occupant that has been diagnosed with lung cancer. And so we know that this program has been accessible across the country. It provides $1,500 for people. But in the province of Nova Scotia, they've developed their own program. And in New Brunswick, we do know that the province did make a motion in the fall to make test kits available. So we're working kind of to provide them with information, but not necessarily kind of alongside the initiatives. We do know that they've been also providing test kits to libraries. And so the same kind of test kits that you're providing, the library program is just a little bit different, that they've been distributing them free. But it's sort of up to you to follow all the instructions, and they don't have the same support program. With our program, we have the information session, but then we also have email contact and support. So if you do have questions, we'll follow up, but then also we'll send you email reminders to remember to set it up and then also to drop it back. But the province has distributed detectors throughout the libraries as well, so that your neighbors may talk about that, and that's great. We're all trying to help support our communities with detectors. But another part of that motion was to look into how to support mitigation. So we are looking forward to hearing from the province ways that they're going to provide support in the future for homeowners. Okay, so that's a little bit of our background of radon. So feel free, if we didn't cover a question about radon that you were looking for us to answer, put it in the chat, and we will get to that in a little bit. But we're just going to dig into the components of the program so that we can kind of walk you through how to pick up a kit and then how the program works. So the Take Action on Radon initiative is a program of the Take Action on Radon program. It is funded by Health Canada, and we work with communities all across Canada. In fact, over 160 communities now we've worked with. And so the program works to engage you to test as a community. So you'll all pick up your kits across the week, and then we encourage you to set them up quickly. We do have an online portal for you to record the start date. And then at the end of the program, so, after the 3 months, we talk about 100 days just to make it easy to remember, but we want at least that minimum of 91 days. Then you will drop your detector back off at the same spot where you picked it up, and then we will ship them to the lab and help you with getting your report. And so we do have more detectors available than have pre-registered. So if your family and friends are interested in testing, let them know. They can pick them up from the community as well. So once you get your detector, then you're going to take it home and we want you to encourage you to set it up right away. And when you do go to set it up, put it in a location where you spend time. So think about your basement, if you have a basement, and a room such as a bedroom or a home office in the basement where you spend 4 hours a day or more. If you don't have a basement or you just don't use it for spending time, think about your main floor. And so again, you want to think about a room where you're spending 4 hours a day or more. So something like a sitting room, family room, a bedroom, or an office, and then put it on a table or a shelf in that room. And so we do try and target you to think about your breathing zone. So put it in sort of a location close to where you're sitting, and a place that where it will stay for 3 months. So you do kind of want to put it on a place a little bit out of the way. You can also hang it from a wall. We just encourage you to keep it away from a window and make sure it's up off the floor. So don't put it on the floor, put it up on a shelf, put it at least a meter away from a window. And then there. And if you do have children or pets and you're concerned that they may play with it or move it, then you can put it up higher. We've done research where we put tests all around a room just to say, how specific do we need to get with instructions on this? And it actually, the radon levels were really very similar in all the different locations. So we put it really high and we put it down lower. And so the things that we did find was, one, keep it away from a window. Two, don't put it on the floor. And so, if you want to put it up high, if you do have children, just so they don't play with it. There is no toxic, nothing in it, so it won't hurt them. The pets might chew it, so we don't want that. But again, it wouldn't hurt them. They just may hurt the detector. Or it may just go missing, so it might be hard to find later. So you may just want to put it up. You can also hang it, and that's helpful too. Okay, so that's setting it up. So you've taken it home, you've put it in place. Oh, I forgot to mention, it comes in a little plastic bag. So just depending on which brand you get, it might either be clear or a white plastic, and you just need to cut it open, and then you'll pull the black plastic detector out. And basically, it's on as soon as you open that plastic package. And then once you do that, then go on and record your start date on our online survey. We need some specific information from you in order to get your report. So we will need your name and your contact information, and then we'll need the date of when you set that test up and your address. And then after the 100 days, we also need your end date, and there's a couple questions. So there is information on our form that we call required, but then there are also optional questions. So as part of our program, we are doing a little bit of research. And so if you want to answer those optional questions, you can go ahead and answer them. If you don't want to, then that's fine. It'll kind of say, do you want to answer more questions? And you can just say no, and then you're done. So the survey questions don't take super long, but they are more detailed questions about your age of your home, energy, efficiency measures or renovations that you might have done, different questions about features that you have in your house. Okay, and then for some of you, you will get two detectors. So the envelopes come with two right in them, and this is part of our quality control check. So Anne-Marie mentioned that these are accurate detectors, and we know that because we do quality assurance on them. So there's a number of measures of things that we do, including, we'll send a few and expose them to known radon so that we kind of check their accuracy. But then this test just makes sure that they're consistent with each other. And so 10% or so of you will receive an envelope that has two detectors in it. And so we ask that you set those up side by side. So just a little bit apart from each other, but quite close. And start them. And then when you go to put on the information into the form, then you can record that there as well. If you'd only get one detector, then just put in one serial number. But if you do get two, there is a spot for the second serial number. Okay, and then after the 3 months or the 100 days, on the envelope, it tells you the week of the collection period. And so at that point, then we'll get you to drop off the detector at that collection period. And then within about 6 weeks or so, you will get a report from the lab. And so this report is confidential between you and us. We don't share this information with anybody, but it does come by email. And if you I will talk in a little bit about if you do not have an email or whatever, that you can certainly call us and we can have a different way. But most of you will get this by email. We do find that emails go awry these days. Some of us just get so many, and so we miss some. And some of our spam filters are quite tight, and so sometimes this email doesn't come through. But when we start to see the reports come out, we will let Jill and Susie know that they're coming out, so they can kind of start to share the information in a community, maybe post on your online Facebook group, or just let you know to check your email. Or you might hear from your neighbors that they're getting their report, and so then you can go and check it. But make sure you check back with us. So next summer, if you realize, I didn't ever get that report, then check your email, but for sure, reach out to us, because this is really important for us to make sure that you do get this report, and we will chase it down if something went awry and it didn't get out to you. Now, for those of you that, oh, yeah, and then at the end of the program, then we summarize the data into a community report. And this provides us with information about radon levels across communities across our country, so that we can have conversations with your community leaders about just the prevalence of radon that we're seeing and help them with making decisions to support their residents. And so we will produce a community report like this and share it out. So your individual results are confidential, but we summarize them with others to share out that these are the results. And so again, we usually publish this once we start to get most of the reports in. So we had been publishing them through the summer. We usually try and have a series of meetings, and so I think we're still working on scheduling a few meetings. So we still have a few more that we're releasing from last year. If you do have, if there are people in the community that don't have email or just having challenges with accessing the online information to record your start or your end survey, then you can give us a call. I've put our phone numbers into the last slide, and then it is on the information. So on your envelope, our phone number is on there, so you can always give us a call. Okay, and then we can mail the report too. So if you don't have an email that we can email the report, then we just have a way to trigger the fact that, okay, we need to mail it out to you. All right, so then here's the information. So if you are in person at Fundy Shores, obviously you can pick up your kit tonight. When you pick it up, we'll just get you to write your serial number next to your name. So if you've pre-registered, then you can just write down your name and serial number. If you come in over the next week to pick it up, same thing, just record your serial number next to your name, and then that just helps us kind of connect your serial number and your name together, just in case something happens with the online forms or we miss your information in the next steps. But if you're in Fundy Shores and you're listening to this online, you can go in over the next week and pick up your detector at the community center. Their hours are just Monday to Thursday, 8:30 to 4:30. And then the municipality of Lakeland Ridges, if you're there, you can pick it up from the municipal office. Susie, I'll maybe get you just to give any instructions for people coming in and picking it up from Lakeland Ridges.
Hi. Yeah, we're just open 8 to 4. You're welcome to stop in anytime. Myself and my coworker, one of us will always be there. We are in the process of relocating our municipal offices, but it shouldn't affect the first week of pickup. And I can relay that information on our Facebook page once we do officially change locations.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, so we'll talk about that in the next slide, but when you drop it off, there may be a new location to drop it off to, so we'll get you that information. Yeah, good. All right, and Jill, do you have any instructions for people coming in to Fundy Shores?
Not really. Just like Susie said, our office is open 8:30 to 4:30, Monday to Thursday, right in the office in Musquash, and we're happy to receive your kits.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, and then yeah, the drop-off dates. So on your envelope, there's like a start by this date, and that's sort of the last date to make sure you get that minimum of 91 days in before the drop-off week. And so the idea with the program is we tend to forget things. I'm sure you're all similar to me, but sometimes I mean to do it and then I forget it. But if I have a deadline, it really helps me with following through. So that's sort of how we've built in structure to the program. So if you start the detector soon, then you'll make sure that you get that minimum of 91 days in by February. And then there'll be a collection, so you can drop it off at the community center in Fundy Shores on Musquash or the municipal office, and we'll update you with the move for the office in Lakeland Ridges during the week in February. If you miss that date, you still can mail it to us. So there is instructions on the in the envelope of where you can mail it to. But just this way, it helps with saving shipping, and we get the detectors back to the lab quickly. So just part of the program to help out with that part. Okay, and just before we get to questions, we want to let you know that we are running a radon awareness contest called November. So it's a play on the fact that November is our Radon Action Month. And so we want you to learn about radon and share what you know with your friends and neighbors. And when you do that, then let us know. And so you can take a picture of however it is that you kind of represents you sharing that information with your neighbor and upload it to our contest online. And you can be entered to win weekly draws of $50 gift cards. And then we have some grand prizes, including a Fitbit, paddleboard, kitchen stand mixer, and some gift cards. So it's just a fun way to sort of try and encourage people to share radon awareness. So instead of fundraising, we're trying to raise awareness. So we have our first draw coming up I think Monday. So if you can enter by this weekend, you have a very good chance of winning a couple gift cards, $50 gift card. So you can go online and enter. So just go to November, KNOWVEMBER.ca. And then you'll also, if you go there, you'll find our radon game. So this was a fun way that we thought we could make it easy. So you can enter the contest, I think, up to 20 times. And so we thought that playing a game might be a fun way for people to enter. So you can go and play the radon game. And this game just kind of takes you through a little pretend community and asks you questions about, should we test for radon in this building? And should we test in radon in this building? So it's just a fun way to learn about radon. There's a couple goofy things in there just to make it fun. And you can level up, so you can kind of go through 3 different levels of your community. So you can check that out too. All right, so there's our information. If you do have questions after tonight, you can certainly reach out to us, and our team is happy to respond. You can see the email or our phone number. And again, we really appreciate Jillian and Jill and Linda from Fundy Shores and Susie from Lakeland Ridges. Really thankful for your help with bringing the community, bringing us into your community to help you with getting radon kits. Okay, so I see we've got a few questions. Anne-Marie, are you ready?
I am ready. So one of the first questions that one of the questions was, I think, answered already. But another question was, what is the approximate cost of the radon mitigation fan? So I think that might mean one of 2 things. How much is the actual fan to buy, or how much is the system to go in? So why don't you answer both of those things?
Sure, yeah. So the actual fan can be a few $100s. I do caution you, there are fans that are getting on the market that are advertising that they are for radon. So if you buy from an online retailer, but they aren't properly sealed. So make sure that you buy a fan that is rated for radon. It needs to be air sealed tight. But so we recommend that you hire or you buy something from a CNRPP professional. If you hire somebody to install it, it is approximately $3,000. We've had it about 2,500 or so on average across the country from some of the research that we did. So, it gives you an idea of what to budget. It can depend on the complexity of the home. So we do recognize in New Brunswick, there are some very old homes that with stone foundation. And so that can impact. So you can certainly reach out to a CNRPP professional and ask them for a quote, and they'll give you an idea. They do know the local houses and will help you with that.
That was actually the question. Oh, and Bill has put in the name of a radon mitigation company, Radon Plus.
Yeah, I think that's Andrew. He's a great guy, Andrew Shipley. Yeah, so he's a great person to talk to. So, and he's been certified for a number of years. Yeah, thanks, Bill.
Okay. Does radon cause other things besides lung cancer? So I will answer that question. It's possible. So again, the research that was done on people and who worked in uranium and hard rock mines really found that lung cancer was the main outcome. These were working age men who were fit enough to work and were able to work. Some smoked, some didn't. So the majority of the research again was done on humans. This is why it's a bit different than other carcinogens where they've just tested things on rats and mice and then they project it onto humans. In this case, we actually know that people get lung cancer from breathing radon because they did. But once they realized that it caused lung cancer, they stopped. It's like the worst thing it could be. It's the highest level of carcinogenicity. And so the research on what radon causes outside of lung cancer has not continued to the same degree, in part because the regulatory requirements didn't need to. So there are newer studies that are looking at radon for other conditions, but we really focus on lung cancer because A, that's what we know what radon causes, and B, lung cancer really continues to be the leading cause of cancer death in Canada. So anything we can do to reduce exposure is going to really help bring those numbers down.
Perfect. And I do have a follow-up question here too. It's my wife has COPD. Would she be at higher risk for lung cancer from radon exposure? Do you have an answer for that, Anne-Marie?
Yeah, not necessarily. Like all lungs are eligible to develop lung cancer with or without a chronic disease. COPD is one of those areas where there is more research at the moment going on about radon and outcomes. But currently, we don't specify whether or not sicker people should be more likely to test or not. It's just anything you can do to reduce your exposure, healthy lungs or otherwise, is recommended.
Perfect. Good. And then another question here about other mitigation methods. So, yeah, I talked about the radon mitigation system, but are there other methods to reduce the radon level? It's possible. When I talked a little bit about the sealing the foundation. And so if you have other openings in the the ground, the space between your indoor home and the ground, then you could look at sealing those and that sort of thing. So a crawl space, you need a membrane to provide a sealing. If you have a sump pit, that should be sealed. If there's cracks or openings, you may want to look at sealing those as well. If you're looking at sealing the crawl space, you may want to have a professional look at it first, because it might be helpful to install some piping under this membrane to be able to make it more effective if you do need to add a fan. So sometimes sealing isn't enough. Another question we often get is about an HRV as well. So HRV is a heat recovery ventilator, and that works to provide ventilation in a home. So it brings in fresh air from outside, and then it, at the same time removes conditioned air from within. But the concern there is you may not have cleaned your filters, and then it reduces the amount of air that's coming in, but the same amount is being removed. So it could depressurize your space, and that could possibly increase the amount of radon in, because when that in your house is depressurized, it's going to draw that air from somewhere, and so then it may increase the amount that it's drawing in from below. Okay.
Does Jill have questions in the room there in Fundy Shores?
Yeah.
We're good.
All right. Good. Okay, well, I know we answered it during presentation, but we did have a question about picking up the kit. So just a reminder that you can now go and pick up the kits. Susie and Jill, I will send you a quick email afterwards with the list so that you can kind of record those numbers, but you can just go in and pick it up. And there were more kits available. So as when we started this webinar, we had just over 30 spoken for. So let your neighbors know that they can come in and pick up a kit. And yeah, and so I think, is there any last minute questions, Anne-Marie, and last minute things you wanted to share?
No, I just thank you. Thanks everyone for wanting to test your home and taking steps. And now you know more about radon than the average Canadian. So I encourage you to go out into the world and now you're a local expert. So let other people know and encourage them to test, because this is the easiest thing you can do to reduce your risk of developing lung cancer.
Yeah. Susie, did you have anything that you want to make sure we added?
No, I think that was everything. So I'll just keep advertising until the end date, the last date to register, and see if we can't get all 100 out there. But
yeah, sounds good. Perfect. And Jill, do you have anything else to add?
I think we're good. Thank you very much, Pam and Dr. Anne-Marie.
All right.
Nice to see little viewers, little lungs too. Nice to see some little lungs on the screen. So thanks for sharing, Susie.
Yeah, and good to see all of you in person.
sorry,
Thanks so much.
that's my little 6-month-old granddaughter.
Yes, that's so sweet. Love it. See, we're all a community, so it's great to have everybody testing. Good. All right. Well, thank you so much to all who have joined us tonight. And again, if you have other questions, we are happy to connect with you. So reach out. All right. Take care.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.